Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Serie A Fantasy Tips. Today, we are going to be going over the Game Week 2 preview, so our second preview, and we're going to jump right into it. Just saying, stay tuned at the end. I will be announcing a special one-off video that will be shown probably after the Game Week finishes. That will not be the same as the review or the preview. But diving right into it, so last week we know things didn't go very well, and it's making decisions this week a little hard, especially with some of the stuff in the media right now. So luckily, my friends at the Pink Table, my new friends there, gave me a little insider information, and I wasn't planning on going with Craigno anyway, and I did just look it up myself, and Craigno did sustain apparently a muscular injury, so I did have Zoet pegged to play this week. But this is the beauty of having two cheap starting keepers, is that I'll be having Zoet play against Lazio. The reason that I was going to have him start anyway, neither of them have an easy fixture by any means. Craigno faces AC Milan, and Zoet faces Lazio. Not really expecting a clean sheet. You never know. Maybe it'll happen, but not really expecting one. Hopefully you'll get some saves in there. You never know. Could stop a penalty. So I am rotating keepers this week. The other reason was I wouldn't really want Cagliari to do well, because that means AC Milan's not doing well, and I have two AC Milan players. So at the end of the day, I want goals against, three AC Milan players, but we'll get to that. But I want goals against Cagliari this match. So it didn't really make sense for me to have Craigno in net this week. And I don't have any Lazio players. The defense this week looks to be going unchanged. I did want to get Karsdorp in there. He still might get in there, and I'll explain why. But we're going with Mela Bastoni, KR, and Mario Rui. Inter has another good fixture against Hellas Verona that might not be as easy. I don't know if it'll be another 4-0 win, but hopefully Bastoni can pick up another clean sheet there. KR against Cagliari, especially with a second choice keeper. There's a good chance for some returns there. Mario Rui, after playing great in the first game with 10 men, I don't necessarily expect, but there's no reason Napoli can't get another clean sheet against Genoa this week, especially after Genoa got destroyed last week. And I'm hoping for, I'd say a little bit better from Atalanta. They got their win, they did their job. But fantasy-wise, I'm hoping that Mela can go and get forward again, get some attacking returns, and hopefully Atalanta can keep a clean sheet this time. So nothing really changed by the defense. We'll see if I end up getting Karsdorp into the 11. I don't think so. I think this is mostly it. Tomorrow, once every final decision has been made, I will be posting the team on the Instagram page. So check that out. But I'm just going to stick with this for now. In the midfield, I'm not going to let Paslic pass points up on me again, which probably means you won't get anything the way my luck's gone so far. But against Bologna, no reason that Paslic can't get some returns for me. Maybe another assist, hopefully a goal. Hoping for a little better attacking wise from Barella. He did get the assist, but in a 4-0 game, I'd hope that people are contributing in some way to one of the 4 goals. So hopefully he can find the back of the net as well, or maybe get 2 assists or get a couple returns this time against Verona. Chiesa, I really think the guy is going to start this game. I was shocked that he didn't start. I'm also shocked by the amount of people. Maybe I'll go back to the homepage at the end there, but he's I think it showed like the second most transferred out player. And he didn't start last game, but remember, he played a maximum amount of Euro games. I'm sure they just wanted to give him an extra week's rest beforehand. And if he doesn't start, I probably still wouldn't transfer him out the next week, just because he is a starter on that team. It's just sometimes things are a little hairy at the start of a season, trying to figure things out, making sure people are starting the season with the proper amount of rest to be able to sustain themselves for a full season. Remember, he will be someone that ends up playing Champions League games as well, so he needs his rest. So I'm sticking with Chiesa for sure this week. The awkward part kind of comes to the top. I am no way giving Ronaldo the captaincy ban this week, and I'm not even convinced that he's going to play again. I think that Ronaldo, if he's a player in Serie A, I don't really care what team he's on. I think you have to have him in your team. because when he plays 70 to 90 minutes, which generally does, he generally scores almost every game. He'll be taking the penalties and converting them for the most part. And there's literally like, it's almost like a cheat code in the game to have a striker like that. Yes, he's 13.5 million, but I think you need that reliable player to continuously be getting you points every week. He, I think, was the most transferred out player this week or something. Or, I don't know, he was one of the top 5. And that I do understand because of all the transfer rumors with him going to Man City. So this is why in this video, I will not be able to show you a confirmed transfer because I haven't confirmed what my transfer is going to be, but I'm going to show you the 2 options that I'm looking at. But yeah, so Ronaldo right now stays in the squad. They're either really close to everything being finalized and he won't see the field at all, or it's all a bunch of mumbo jumbo and he will be playing this week. That's how I don't think it'll be another off the bench sub-in. I think he's either starting or not playing. And so this is why I'm not that worried, because if he doesn't play, Karsdorp subs in, and I really want him anyway, because it won't break the formation rule. I'll just change into a 5-3-2. So Karsdorp will come in against Salernitana, which I do like that fixture as well. So that's why I'm not too worried. I don't see Ronaldo being another late sub-in. In worst case, he's a player that can score off the bench at the end of the day. We saw late in the game, marginal offside did put the ball in the net. As long as he's not taking his shirt off anymore. And he will not have my captaincy regardless. So I'm not going to sewer those double points like I did last week. Giroud's going to stay in squad. I just have no reason to sub him. Yeah, he didn't have a great attacking game last week, but there are other things that need to be managed more than that right now. So he'll get another shot for me. I don't think Ibra's back yet, but he probably will be a transfer down the line. And the captaincy is going to go to Dzeko facing Verona. He had a great first week. He got the goal and an assist, playing high, strong Inter team that look like they're going to be very strong again this year. There's no reason not to go for him, I think. And yeah, so with Dzeko captain, I don't think the vice captain will be needed with Chiesa this week, but you never know. And then we got on the bench. So Craig, I'm not going to sell Craig, no, by any means. I don't think it was supposed to be a long-term injury. And the beauty of having 2 starting keepers on my team meant that I could afford a keeper being injured and not having to go and find one immediately. So he's just going to sit on the bench for a bit. Hopefully that recovery happens and I can go back to being able to rely on the 2. For now, it's just going to be Zoet, and I'm going to be focusing on other transfers. Potentially Ronaldo might be one of them. And honestly, if he gets transferred and I need to end up transferring out myself, I can pick any striker I want, and that'll still leave me with extra money later on to put elsewhere. So I'm not fearful that Ronaldo necessarily gets transferred, aside from being a Juve fan. Let me just address that first. Actually, to be truly honest, I'm not a huge Ronaldo fan, but I do see the value that he does bring to the club. But just a little non-fantasy information there. Apparently, this, as far as I've seen on some sites, it's supposed to be like a swap deal, and they'd be getting Laporte and Bernardo Silva from them, which I think is worth. I think that's a great deal as far as Juventus goes. They need more balance on this team, and I think that would move them away from the strategy of just trying to go through Ronaldo all the time. Anyway, I'm going to stop with that because that's not what this channel's about. But yeah, as a fantasy owner, I'm not too worried whether Ronaldo stays or goes. The only thing that could be bad is if he doesn't play, I might take a price drop next week on Ronaldo because so many people will be transferring him in. So I might make a quick transfer if I see that he's not starting this upcoming week. As far as the bench, Lopez started, didn't really do anything, kind of like what I expected. Someone that might, worst case, need to sub in for like 1 or 2 points. That's fine. And Rebic, that's who I want to be transferring out this week. And I'm going to show you what my plan is to do. Okay, so that's the team. Sticking with a 4-3-3 for this week. And we'll see what happens as far as potential formation changes and stuff like that. going to transfers. So to be truly honest, I've been pretty set on transferring out Rebic this week. And that's why I haven't really picked a for sure striker that I want to bring in. And you can see here how I've already been planning it out. I have been thinking of going down to Bandinelli, and an Empoli player facing Juventus this week. Why would I do that? Well, he'd be sitting on my bench this week, so I'm not concerned about having to use him against Juventus at all. As you can see, basically the highest midfielder for Empoli is a 5.5, sorry. The lowest is 4.5. So I think that he will be a consistent starter for now if I need him. Empoli does have good fixtures coming up after the Juventus game. So if someone gets injured, he can be someone I can put in and maybe even rely on for points, a goal, assist, something like that. He has shown that he can get a decent score after getting 8 points, in the first week. And this banks me 3.5 million, Phantom Million, whatever you want to call it. I know that I can probably rely on Barella, Pasalic, and Chiesa to play almost every game. And so far, I like my defense. I'd be happy having all 5 of them start. I'm probably going to keep trying to stick with 4 of them. Okay, so I'm okay with having to rely on 3 midfielders for now. One thing that I do want to try to do is, especially if Ronaldo leaves, I want to get Dybala in for sure. Because if Dybala is playing in the striker role as a midfielder, so he gets that extra point for goal and potential clean sheet points, I want Dybala in my team. Now that could be done by almost getting, I'd be banked at 4 million, which means, and Dybala I believe was 10. Let me just hop over there for a second. Yeah, Dybala is 10 million. Depending on how well he does, might go up a bit. So the only player that I wouldn't be able to get rid of to get him back would obviously be Bandinelli himself and Lopez. I could always switch Pasalic, Barella, or Chiesa and go up. I might, if Chiesa didn't start again, I might do Chiesa and just leave that extra Juventus spot as well. Maybe I'll have 2 Juventus spots. Maybe I'd bring Morata up here and just kind of solidify that any Juve goal I'm likely going to get returns on. Or if I can upgrade either Barella or Pasalic to him. That's upgrade as far as money goes, not necessarily form right now. Or I could spend that money lowering the team. And if I downgrade Ronaldo, then I'll have even more in the bank. And that just gives me such flexibility. And I could probably hold off on using my shuffle for a while, or for Premier League managers, the wild card. So that's where my thinking is going right now. I know I want Dybala. There's some other players that I was thinking of. But I don't know, they seem just too expensive for the team they play on. Like João Pedro played really well and scored both goals to come back against Spezia. But he's 9.5. Like, is he worth just 0.5 million less than Dybala? I don't think so. Especially when I have some nice lower cost players here that are getting points. I know I'm going to have to move on for Giroud. So maybe I'm going to be looking for someone like Muriel, who did really well. If I want to get a Milinkovic-Savic, I'm still not sold on him, to be honest. Had a great first game week, but I don't know if I'm sold on him yet. And if Ronaldo transfers basically by the end of tonight, and I know I need to get rid of him right away, well, remember, I can choose basically anyone. Even if I drop down to 12 million Immobile, I'm still banking 1.5 million, which that could be a good choice. We'll see about Abraham. I'm surprised that he got into the squad week 1, but he did well. He did really well. Then I got Muriel Arnautovic. I mean, if he continues, that would be a good low-cost option to still have 3 good strikers and money to put elsewhere. I might even end up upgrading Lopez at some point if it's really easy to get Dybala in, and then I'll have 5 good midfielders, or 4 or 5. But yeah, there's some good options. I think right now who I'm looking at most is I think it was Muriel last I checked. I got turned off Immobile through the Euro a bit, but I do know he's a good Serie A striker for sure. So maybe I'd think of going to him. But I'd have to take a double look at the fixtures and stuff and see. So I've pretty much my mind is at transferring out Rebic this week, barring on more transfer news today, because I need to see what's going to happen there. I'm still not 100% believer that transfer is going to happen, and then it's just going to be business as usual for Juve. And unfortunately, I'm not a huge fan of business as usual right now at Juve. But there are plenty of other options, and the money will be there if I need it. Okay. So that's my preview for this. I'm just gonna go back to the home screen, see if there's anything else to really touch on. Oh, these were just the increase and decrease. So yeah, Juve's getting a lot of people, which I don't understand the Chiesa one. I understand Ronaldo and Shenzi. Oh my gosh. And that's why I don't pick premium keepers either, because Zoet makes that mistake. I'm like, well, I was asking for it at least. Osimhen got the red card. I think Zaniolo did too. And yeah, it looks like a lot of people are just looking at the points here when they're picking, which that's the way to be a manager. That's absolutely fine as well. Okay, but I'm going to end it here. Please know, so I'm sending out a video on what the different chips do and when best to play them. So you'll know that there's things called chips if you played Fantasy Premier League, called Bench Boost, Free Hit, Wildcard, and Triple Captain. They're different in Serie A Fantasy. You have still 2 wildcards called Shuffles. I don't believe they're restricted to once per half of the season. I think they can be used back-to-back weeks if you really wanted to, just that it's not a good strategy to have. I'll explain what I think is a good strategy to use them. And then the other 2, I think there's only 2 more chips after that. And it is something called All In, which I believe is the exact same thing as a Bench Boost. And a Double Captain, which is pretty self-explanatory. But I'll talk about that in a video. I'm going to say that's probably going to come around Monday, Tuesday-ish, but we'll see if I got bored and maybe post earlier, then we'll see. But yeah, so please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate that, trying to get that number up. Feel free to leave a comment, even just saying I subscribed. And remember, I do have the FDR that I made, so reach out. Maybe if you want to write I subscribe, can you send me the FDR for the Serie A, and we can figure out a way to send it to you. I will definitely respond to anything you guys put down there, so don't be shy to interact. Remember, there's also the Twitter page and Instagram page that I'll actually be posting the starting 11 I finally chosen yesterday. Twitter is fantasy_Serie A, and Instagram is at Serie A Fantasy Tips. That's where the team gets posted every week, so you can see what exactly happened. But other than that, I got nothing else for you. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. See ya.